now that the dust has somewhat settled on the Brighton defeat, certainly feel a lot better about, well, certainly a lot better, that's probably the wrong word, but certainly feel a bit more calmer about the situation than I was straight after the game. I did a review, like a sort of reaction to it straight away, and I was furious, like many, just absolutely fuming with what I saw, just the capitulation once again from West Ham. And it was very painful, that one, wasn't it, considering the fact that we were leading, up to the 88th minute and then end up losing the game. You just think to yourself, I mean, the worst case, I thought at that point we'd concede and draw the game. But at least you could go, well, we got a point, whatever, and you could move on. But the fact we end up losing was just horrendous, and the manner in which we did it as well. But I don't want to go over the game. I want to talk about Graham Potter in particular in this video. Before I do, though, if you're new to the channel, do subscribe. It takes 2 seconds to do so. We really do appreciate it. About a third of people watching this are regular viewers but are not subscribers. So if you can check and make sure you are a subscriber, click that subscribe button. We really do appreciate it. And also hit that like button because it helps us to gain further audience, and we really do appreciate it. We've got Tom as well. Before I go into the video, Tom will be starting his new show, which will be basically it's very similar to this. We'll be talking about features, but basically what the intention will be is that we've got 2 videos per day. There'll be one at lunchtime, one at an evening slot, and Tom will be covering the lunchtime show, so that'll be coming later on this week. That'll be starting, so really appreciate if you can help support Tom in that, because he's a great lad, and it's great to have him on board. Let's say that'll be starting towards the end of the week, and then what we'll do over the summer, we're going to announce a few little things we'll be doing for the channel going forward, which is going to be helping us to grow, to sort of take us to the next level. But your support is really, really appreciated, so yeah, really do thank you for that. Right, let's talk about West Ham. I don't want to go over the game. I don't want to talk about the match in bits and pieces now. I've done with that, really. I want to talk about the reaction to it. I will say, though, when I was doing that video straight after the game, where I said a few choice words and I wasn't very happy, one part of it that was really getting under my skin and making my blood boil was the fact that I was imagining what was going to be said by Graham Potter and Jared Bowen, etc. I was waiting for these cliche, oh, we did really well, we played well in large parts, and oh, there's positives to take, and it's fine margins. I was expecting all these kind of cliche lines, the lines that we've been hearing for quite some time. Not that they've not been true, by the way. I'm not suggesting, they're just lies. They're not. But when you just keep hearing it and hearing it and hearing the same thing, and you just think, I can't keep hearing it. So it's one thing that was it was under my skin. I thought, I just can't even bring myself to listen to Graham Potter talk about this game, because I just don't want to keep hearing positives. I don't want to keep hearing that the players are working really hard in training. I couldn't give a shit now. I want to start seeing results on the pitch. I'm tired of this, positive outlook on things all the time when things aren't good. I think we got a little bit from Jared Bowen again, which I get a bit tired of hearing. I get that he's got to say these things, all right, I'm not going to go at the guy, but when you keep hearing that, oh, we've got to look ourselves in the mirror and this is what it means to play for West Ham, it's all well and good hearing all this stuff, but when it's the same, when you're hearing it over and over again, it just becomes like, it loses its meaning. It's almost like you just saying it because you have to say it. But I do want to talk about the actual reaction that we got, which, especially from Graham Potter, was the absolute opposite of that. We didn't get any cliches. We didn't get any positivity. It was absolutely the opposite. Graham Potter was, I've not seen him. I haven't obviously watched all Graham Potter's press conferences before he came to West Ham. Obviously, I've probably seen about 5% of them. But I've never seen him that angry. My God, I've certainly not seen him. First time I've ever seen him like that. He was absolutely furious. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure you have, because most people have now. But I would suggest go and watch it. It's over YouTube. It's everywhere. Just go and look Graham Potter press conference. Even when he sits down, he's not even speaking. You can see the anger, and he's just fuming. And his eyes, the eyes, by the way, are doctored for this thumbnail. Right? That it's not a snapshot, but it weren't far off that. He's just staring like daggers into people that are asking him questions. You can see he's furious, and I actually found it a bit refreshing. Actually, in a way, I was quite pleased to see that. It made me feel a bit like, at least we're getting the reaction that I'm feeling. Do you know what I mean? You're emitting the feeling that I'm and many others are feeling, this anger and fuming feeling of like, I don't want to keep talking about positives. He said that, I don't want to talk about any positive. There's no something to talk about. He did say, and he's right, there were positives in that game. He said, I just don't want to talk about it. I'm not interested. I'm sick of talking. His actual words, I'm sick of talking positives. And a part of me was like, get in. Like, I'm glad you've said that because it's exactly what I've been thinking. I'm sick of hearing positives. I'm sick of hearing things are all right, things are getting better, things are improving. I'm just tired of hearing these words when all we're doing is seeing the same result as defeat, defeat, draw, defeat, defeat, draw. We're not getting any wins. We're not looking like a team that's progressing in terms of our mentality. There is a serious mentality problem at this club. Massive. I mean, you can just it's been confirmed anyway, isn't it? Graham Potter's talked about it. Talked about in their press conferences. There's a problem. Jared Bowen's talked about it, and Nicholas Fulford, of course, has spoken the most about it in terms of being very outspoken about that there is a real mental issue within this squad. We saw it again at Brighton because now I've calmed down and watched the game back, and as I say, read the fallout, watched the highlights, and all that kind of stuff. We didn't play badly. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like West Ham played badly. It wasn't like we went out that pitch and got Brighton battered us and we couldn't cope. We played well. When we scored that second goal and Souček scored, was 83rd minute, I thought we were deserving of it. I thought, yeah, don't get me wrong. It wasn't. I'm not saying Brighton weren't deserving of anything. They were in the game as well. But my point is, we were away at Brighton and playing well. We were competing and looking good. And I thought, all right, we're going to go and win this game, and it would have been a massive 3 points. But at the end of the day, we've come away empty-handed again. But I actually found that although there are elements to that interview with Potter, with the press, that were concerning in he just looks so angry, I actually prefer that than the other way round. I would rather that than him sit there with a smile on his face going, oh, well, we played well, and oh, we'll look to the next game. And that would have, I think West Ham fans as a collective, we would have been furious with him to be like, why are we not talking positively? I do wonder, actually, whether the Nicholas Fulkrug outburst that we had the week prior, which was the Southampton game, which we threw away again, another last-minute goal of 93rd minute again, wasn't it, against Southampton? I wonder whether that spurred Potter on, whether he just thinks, well, do you know what? I'm going to say how I feel, actually. I'm going to express how I feel. I actually, as much as it was horrible to see in a way, because it reflects West Ham as where we are at the moment, looking broken, because that's how Potter looked, broken. He looked really, struggling to control his emotions. But I think we saw a real side of him, which I think we've seen anyway, but I like that. I like to see raw emotion. I don't want a robot sitting there. He says that, doesn't he? I'm not a robot. Because I think it was Shane Thomas who's a good guy. He's the journalist for the Athletic, big West Ham fan as well. Obviously works for West Ham Way as well. He does, well, I say works for West Ham Way. He does a podcast with Sam Delaney, U Irons. And he asked the question. He said, "Well, Graham, you're looking really more frustrated." Well, I am. Yeah, of course I'm frustrated. Of course I'm frustrated. What am I? I'm not a robot, am I? And I thought to myself, like, I'm glad he was talking like that. I actually felt like, well, that's what I would have said. Well, of course I'm angry. Of course I'm bloody angry. Funny enough, I've had the same conversation with my wife this weekend because she questioned me. Why are you really annoyed? I'm like, I wasn't bloody annoyed. We were just fucking hell. So we were just literally seconds away, minutes away from a big away win ahead of playing Tottenham. It would have been a brilliant lift. Everyone had given us a nice lift ahead for the weekend. We've just had 2 weekends. Liverpool, we threw a last minute goal away. Southampton, we've done the same. We've also done it previously. Bournemouth. I'm sick of it. Do you know what I mean? And and some people don't get it. Will go, oh, you're looking a bit annoyed. You do, don't you? You react. Of course, I'm bloody annoyed. And I think that we saw that from Potter. And as much as I'm not suggesting, God, it's brilliant, isn't it? I'm not saying it's brilliant, but I'm glad we saw that. I'm glad we saw that emotion from Potter and how much it means to him. Because I tell you what it does tell me is that the players going into training aren't walking into a comfortable training session this week. They're not going to walk into Graham Potter going, "Morning, you all right, everyone? How we all been? How was your Sunday? All right, did you get up to..." That ain't happening. Do you know what I mean? There's no way that Potter ain't going to be giving any hugs and kisses when people walk through the door. I mean, they're in for a seriously tough week, and about bloody time. I want that. I want a reaction, and I think verbally, so far we got that. I think we got the reaction we need to see. I remember it kind of reminded me. I'm hoping, this is me hoping a little bit. The season that we did the Great Escape, which was the Carlos Tevez season, with Alan Kirbishley in charge. I think, if I remember rightly, I think it was 2006, 2007, I think. And I remember we played Tottenham at home, massive game. It was a big, big game. We sort of labelled it as must win. Got to win this game. Got to win the game. Obviously, London Derby, Tottenham, Upton Park, big, big game. Anyway, we lost 4-3. We lost 4-3, and we lost in a very similar to Brighton, painful circumstances. Should have won the game. We ended up losing. And Tottenham scored a last minute goal. It was a dagger to the heart. And it was one of them results that made me go, oh, we're going down. It's done. The season's over. And actually, we reacted well to it. It actually sparked a fire in us at West Ham. And we went on then to an unbelievable run of results and stayed up. Final day of the season at Man United, 1-0 win. Carlos Tevez gets in. And I do wonder, well, I certainly wonder, I can change it. I do hope that that's what we might get from this, in that this could be the moment now that it's like, right, I've had enough. I've been enough. There's been enough compliments, enough hugs with this team, and telling everyone how brilliant they all are, and oh, what a brilliant player he is, and he's working hard. Oh, he's been brilliant for me. He's been brilliant. He's been superb. They've been brilliant. All the players, they've been so supportive. I don't want to keep hearing how great things are behind the scenes, because we're not seeing it on the pitch. We're not seeing a united team. We're not seeing it. We're seeing a lot of players that are down in tools. I think it's a mental issue at the club. I think there's a vulnerability in terms of confidence, but I also think there's a laziness. I think there's a shrug in the shoulders from these players. I think they know they're on their way as well, which doesn't help. So I actually think the reaction from Potter, personally, this is how I see it, as could be a positive for West Ham. I personally was relieved to see it. Not I was relieved, yeah, possibly a little bit relieved, and a little bit, get in there. That's what I want to see. That's the kind of attitude I want to see. I don't want to keep hearing things are good. But yeah, it was bloody hell. I mean, he was furious, furious, like myself, and like no doubt you were feeling as well. So what it leads us into, though, is a very difficult period. We've now got, we've got 4 games left. Tottenham, Manchester United, Nottingham Forest, and Ipswich, isn't it? I think that's our last few games now to go. Tottenham is an absolutely must-win game, and I really hope that we can channel that anger from Potter, that this fury within the team. And I really hope they're going in there and kicking these players around now, saying, you buck your ideas up, because that is not good enough. You cannot just keep imploding at the last minute of a game and go out there and get 3 points against Spurs, because that is a must. And let's be honest, there's no better time to be playing Tottenham. Thank God for Tottenham Hotspur this season, by the way, because it's been the only element of joy I've had from this season. But there's no better time to play them. Don't get me wrong, same for them. They'll be thinking there's no better time to play West Ham, and they'd be bloody right. But I really do hope we get a reaction, because that was something that really I was quite surprised, actually. It took me back a little bit in terms of how the words that were said and the fury you could see in Potter. I feel like it's a little bit of a, not make or break, but it's going to be interesting to see how we come away from this now. If the players don't react against Tottenham, and we don't see a continuation of a good performance, and then go out and get a result, then it's going to be very hard to see where we go at the moment, because this summer's looking bleak, isn't it? Let's be honest, because I want to go at least into the summer with some optimism. We've got an opportunity here. We've got an opportunity, actually, to just, we've got 4 games left. If West Ham can beat Spurs, go and maybe get a point at Man United, and then go and beat Ipswich. Look, it's a tall order, considering the fact how many games. We won 3 games in 16 under Potter now. So to say, are you going to get 2 wins at your last 4? It's quite a big jump. Potter really needs to do it, though. Like, if we're going to stand any chance of going into the summer with any optimism, you've got to start getting some results. We can't go the rest of the season like this. We just can't. We've got a massive summer ahead at this football club. Massive, massive summer. I've talked about it in a previous video about Jared Bowen and the captaincy and my concerns with it. That's not gone away, and if anything, it's heightened even a little bit more. Not that I want Jared Bowen removed as captain. I want to make that really clear. I'm not saying I want Bowen removed. I don't mind Bowen remaining as captain, to be honest. But it's quite clear he can't do this on his own. I don't think he's equipped for it. I feel like we need more leaders in that team. It's it's so evident that we have got a real lack of leadership on the pitch when it matters. We have got no control. I'm not seeing a rallying of the troops. I'm not seeing any kind of geeing up to see us through to the end, because we're just crumbling all the time. And it's a real big problem. And I think it's something that Potter desperately needs to address. There are so many things to address this summer, but that is one of them. Because that, once again, was highlighted in that Brighton performance, that West Ham simply just don't have leadership. We've got a real leadership problem. Yeah, so that's where I'm standing at the moment. The other thing I will add is Kyle McCauley and our transfer window coming up. There's a real nervousness building at West Ham, I feel, with this summer, because of the magnitude of what we're about to experience in terms of players leaving and then us having to then recruit replacements. We are asking Cole McCauley, who has been promoted to head of recruitment, and as far as I understand, and this is coming from mainly from Gonzo, actually, over at Hammers Chat Forum, obviously on Claret and Hugh, that McCauley's just not equipped. He's not got the experience for this. He's not come from that rank. It's not to suggest that he can't do the job. I mean, I'd like to think if West Ham have promoted him and Potter's recommended him, then there is something about this guy that he knows what he's doing. But the signs aren't great. Let's be honest. As a snapshot immediately, I think as well that this is what my point I'm trying to get to is that I think we need a deal to happen very quickly in terms of a summer. I think we need to get a free transfer done for a highly rated player quickly. If it's Jonathan David, great. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think that's going to happen at the moment. My just gut feeling is it's not going to happen. And let's be honest. I mean, the more the way the season goes on, these players are going to be further and further turned off from joining West Ham anyway. But we do need to get a deal done quickly. We need to, even if it's not I'm not saying I want to get a superstar through the door, because to be honest with you, I don't even really want us to be looking at sort of players. I want us to get players that want to be here. But we need to settle the nerves at West Ham. We need to start showing some signs that next season's going to be better. And I think at the moment, we've got no signs of that at all, because we've got no deals agreed with any free agents. I know I'm not saying we should have, but at the end of the day, free agents we are able now to sign contracts, and we're not able to. We don't seem to be getting any deals done at the moment. No other clubs are really, so it's not as if we're the only one. But I feel like that's really needed. I feel like that would calm things a little bit for the summer. Just okay, West Ham have got a deal done. Whew, okay, so we are able to get deals done, and that's a player that we wanted. Okay, great. I think that would settle some nerves a little bit. And I feel like these next 4 games are so important. West Ham are obviously safe now. The 3 relegated teams all confirmed. So there's no pressure on us in terms of that. But there's pressure on in terms of lifting the spirits. As I said, if West Ham can get a deal done soon, early doors in the summer, get a deal done just nice and quickly, all agreed, wearing the shirt, and we go, brilliant. I think that would help. And just get a couple of more results over the line before the end of the season. It's massive. I'm hoping that despite that the reaction from Potter was a really angry one, and one that people are suggesting, well, look, he's broken, he already wants to let. I don't see that really. I'm not seeing a guy. I just see a guy that's really angry after a game, and I'm pleased to see it. Actually, I'm actually pleased to see him react like that, because it's better than the alternative as far as I'm concerned. But if we can react to that, if these players can react to that in a good way against Tottenham on Sunday, then I truly believe then the nerves will start to calm a little bit, and we can start to look forward to next season a little bit more. I'm going to summer with a little bit of optimism. It's massive. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that anyway. So yeah, look, as I say, we've got some more videos coming out this week. We've got Tom starting his afternoon shows, which is going to be great. And then I say I really appreciate your support with all of that. We'll have some more. We've got a podcast out this evening, 4:00, which will be from XWH employee. On the back of that, there'll be videos coming on latest goings on at the club. There is some bits and pieces. I've got a phone call this week to talk about the wall, so I'll keep you up to date with that. It's all still trying to move things forward. There seems to be a little bit of momentum building with that, so that hopefully we can keep that going. But any sort of big news on that, I'll keep you in the loop. But look, until then, take care, enjoy, and hope you're enjoying this sunshine. Go on, you ones.